Hello class, we're about to start lesson 2, bar and line graphs. It says here, working with bar graphs. A bar graph uses bars to represent values. Bar graphs have two axis lines. One line shows a number scale and the other shows labels for the bars. By comparing the length of a bar to the scale, you can estimate what value the bar represents. Example 1, a national corporation made a bar graph shown below to show the number of discrimination complaints made by employees during a 6-year period. About how many more complaints were made in 2010 and 2009. So if you look here at 2009, it's 20. And if you look here at 2010, it's a little bit above 30, almost halfway between 35 and 30. So I think it's about 32. So read the labels. Each bar represents the number of complaints made within a year. The years are shown beneath the bars, which we have here. Analyze the data. Compare the bars for 2009 and 2010 to the scale. There were 20 complaints in 2009 and about 32 complaints in 2010. Use the data. Subtract 32 minus 20 is 12. There were about 12 more complaints in 2010 than in 2009. A double bar graph compares more than one type of data. A studio released 4 films in 1 year. The graph below compares the cost of making each movie to its box office receipt or ticket sales. Film B's cost is what percent of its box office receipt. It says read the labels. Read the key to find the meaning of the bars. Notice that the scale represents millions of dollars. Okay, this is box office receipt and this is cost. And then we have this scale here, dollars and millions, and they have the film. So the gray box here is the receipts and the black box is the cost. Analyze the data. Film B's cost is about 30 million. So we go to film B. It's almost a halfway point between 20 and 40, which would make it 30 million. It brought in about 65 million in receipts. So here, if you notice, this is a little less than what the halfway point is between 60 and 80, which would be 70. So this is about 65. Use the data from what percent $30 is of $65. Okay, so basically what they did here, they didn't write the million. It's really 30 million of 65 million. So we'll take 30 divided by 65, and that gives you approximately 46%. So basically, you have 46% is the percent here of 30 is of 65. So now, for questions 1 through 3, use the bar graph entitled Employee Discrimination Complaints on page 282. For questions 4 through 6, use the bar graph entitled Profit Analysis for four films. Okay, so it says to the nearest 10, how many employee discrimination complaints were there in 2006 and 2007? So we go here. So we look here to 2006 and 2007. Now remember, they want us to round to the nearest 10. So for 2006, there was about 20. In 2007 was about 30. So in total, it was about 50. So let's scroll down here. Now, it says to the nearest 5. How many more complaints were there in 2011 than in 2006? So we go back up here to 2011, which on mine is a little cut off, but you can see it on your paper. It said to the nearest 5. This is real close to 40. So it'd be 40 minus, and then 2006. This would be closer to me, 20. This would be closer to 20. So 40 minus 20 would be 20. Okay. Now, so that would be 20. Now, what they say here, okay, I did look in the back of the book and it had a slightly different answer than what I had. It seems as though when they say round to the nearest 5, they wanted you to take the raw number first, subtract, then round your final answer. Now, that's typically not done that way. Usually you round first and then you subtract and get your answer. But according to this, they wanted you all to subtract first and then round. So if we're taking that into consideration, 2011 is about 38. And then 2006 is about 22. So 38 minus 22 is 16, is about 16. So if you round this, this would be about 15 because you're rounding to the nearest 5. So it'd either go to 20 or 15. So your final answer here would be 15. But I am going to check more into this because I believe how I did it the first way is the way it's supposed to be done. But of course, I need to check that. But let's go here to number 3. It says, by what percent did the number of complaints decrease from 2008 to 2009? So we're going to do a percent of decrease. So we have percent of decrease. We know it's new minus old all over old. So percent of decrease. So let's take a look. I got to remind myself. It's 2008 to 2009. So 2009 would be the new value, which would be 20. 2008 would be the old value, which is 25. All divided by 25. So percent of decrease, 20 minus 25 be a negative 5 over 25. So we could put that in our calculator. And remember, we'll drop the negative sign. So we could just say 5, down arrow, 25. Then a right arrow, second, right parenthesis, press enter. So that'll be percent of decrease. It's about 20%. Okay, now we go back here. Now number 4, 5, and 6, they want to use the bar graph, the double bar graph for the 4 film. It says, about how much more did it cost to make film A than film D? Okay, so first, let's go back up here. So we go to film A to film D. And remember, the black part is what it costs. So how much more did it cost for film A? So film A, if you look here, it'd be about 85. Film D looks to be about 65. So it'll be about 20 million more. So that'll be number 4. It's about 20 million. Okay, now, number 5. Which film made the greatest amount of profit? Profit equals receipt minus cost. Okay, now what we could do here, if you look at the bar graph, what you could do is, because this is all in millions of dollars, you could look at which one had the biggest disparity between the box office receipt, and we would need the box office receipts to be longer minus the actual cost. Okay, so that would be one way. Now, of course, as we get these larger numbers, it might not necessarily be so. So that could be a little trick that will make it, how should I say, make you get the incorrect answer. So what we would do, we would just go through and subtract all of them. So we'll take the receipts minus the cost. The box office receipt here would be about, for A, it'll be about 135 minus the cost, which would be about 85. So 135 minus 85, which would be 50. So for film B, we would have the cost would be 65 minus the box office receipt is 65 minus the cost of the film, which would be about 30. So this would be 35. Now we go to C. C we don't even really need to do because our receipts is smaller than what the cost was. So they took a loss for film C. So we don't have to worry about that. So we could go to film D. Film D had about 90 for the receipts minus 65. 90 minus 65 is 25. So our answer here would be A. So now we scroll down. So now we go to problem number 6. With problem number 6, it says film C's cost was what percent of its box office receipts? Okay, so we go to film C. So we go to the cost. The cost is, film C is 60. And the box office receipts was 40. So now we take a look at this and we can put this in our calculator. We'll press clear. We'll click N over D. So we have 60. Down arrow 40, right arrow, and then we'll press second, the right parenthesis, and press enter. So that'll be 150%. So you know that definitely was a loss when your cost is more than your box office receipts. So now we go down here to 7 and 8. I think this only goes up to 10. So it says choose the one best answer to each question. Question 7 and 8 refer to the following graph. Okay, approximately how many more t-shirts were sold than books and toys combined? Okay, so first of all, let's add up books and toys. Okay, we look down here. Toys is about 30. And then books is about, if we look here, we might be looking at about 42. So then this would be 72 for those, for the books and toys combined. Now we have to look at t-shirts. T-shirts look to be about 110. So we'll take 110 minus 72, which will give us 38. So it's about 38 more. So now if you get something like 38, maybe 40, something close around there, then this is where you pick the one best answer. The answer that's closest to 38 is 40. So your answer here would be A. Now number 8, it says 1/2 of the games sold during the week of September 20th were on sale for $16. The rest sold for the full price of $24. Approximately how much money did the store take in for games sold during the week of September 20th? So it says, let me see, 1/2 of the game. Okay, so we go here to games. Games here is about 50. So let's say we had 50 games that were sold. And they say half of it was sold for $16. So it'd be 25 times 16. And then the other half, which would be 25, was sold at $24. Now we add all of those together. So we would take 25 times 16 plus 25 times 24. And this would give us $1,000. That would be the total amount that we have for that. Now we go here to number 9. It says for questions 9 and 10, refer to the following graph. Now if you see here, my graph is a little fuzzy, but you should have a clear graph in your textbook. It says in May, what was the ratio of the number of 2-day permits to the number of 5-day permits? Okay, so the gray is the 2-day and the black is the 5-day. So we go to May. So we want to do the ratio of 2-day permits, which is 70. So it's 70 2-day permits to 5-day permits. So 5-day permits would be 10. So then we would simplify this. Wait a minute, I'm sorry, that I looked at the wrong one. This should be 15, not 10. So it'd be 70 over 15. We could divide both of these by 5. If we divide both of these by 5, let me take this. Divide the numerator and denominator by 5. That would give us 14 over 3, which is 14 colon 3. So that would give us C for number 9. Now, just like I made a mistake here when I was looking at the graph, you have to make sure that when you look at the graph that you're looking at the right month or the right data, or you will get that incorrect. Okay, number 10, in which month was there a total of 80 permits issued? So it's a total of 80 permits, not just 2-day permits. It's the combination of the 2-day and 5-day. Now look at what we have to choose from: June, July, August, and September. Now if you look here at September, well, let's start with September, because the reason why I'm starting with it is because it's blurry. So if you look here at September, you got 60 2-day permits, and then you add 25 days. So for September, and I just put S for September. So you add 60 plus 20, that gave us 80. Now, so far, September is the one that we need. But let's look at August. August, we have 80 plus, and then we have 30. So that's 110. So we know August doesn't work. So now we go to July. And if you notice, I'm going backwards here. If we go to July, we have 80 2-day permits plus it'll be 40 5-day. So that's 120. So July doesn't work. Now we go to June. June, we have 70 2-day permits, and then we have 30 5-day permits. So that's 100. So we know all of these are over 80. So the only one that's 80 is September, which would be D. And that will be your answer. Now, one other thing, because they said total amount, the ones August and July that had 80 for the 2-day permits, and you notice they had something for the 5-day permits, they could have been automatically excluded as well. So class, this is the first part of lesson 2. I will go back and do lesson 3 in a moment. So I will load this up to YouTube, and if you have any questions, please let me know.